What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another video, and in this video I wanted to talk to the people on the other side of the aisle, if that's the way I'm going to say it. Essentially, I want to talk about how voting for Democrats is essentially voting for gun control. Now, like I said, this isn't my main audience. This probably isn't going to I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the other side, the people that may be on the fence about the whole Second Amendment and gun control, argument. People who might see some good on the gun control and some good on the Second Amendment, whichever, but that's who I'm directing this video to. Now, if you aren't in the gun world, right, you don't really care about it, but you might be political, you might vote, on certain other issues. You might vote Democrat because you primarily are a Democrat, or you're an independent that favors Democrats. But you don't think of Second Amendment, right? You just don't. You might not even be necessarily anti-gun. You just don't care. Well, if you're one of those people who actually cares about your rights, the Second Amendment is included, obviously, it's probably not a good idea to vote Democrat in any way. Now, granted, that's not to say that there won't be any Democrats that are for Second Amendment, but I'm saying as a whole, they are not. I don't think I've ever really seen a single Democratic candidate that is actually for Second Amendment, let alone any other right. And I'll kind of explain into a little bit deeper. So it's not a secret that Democrats are very anti-gun. And I don't even have to really show you an example. You can just look it up on Google. If you look into the gun laws and the legislation behind that, it's Democrats. Now, obviously, there are some Republicans that piggyback and they want to be on. They're trying to get a lot of votes, so they want to appease both sides. So they're traitors, right? Like they don't hold a lot of different values that Republicans typically do, and so I understand that. But Democrats, they're just not for firearms, your rights to own firearms. You just look around, all the candidates that are Democrats, whether they be presidential candidates, Congress, anything like that, they are always pushing gun control agenda, always. Okay, obviously our president, Joe Biden, is anti-gun. You just watch his speeches, or you should have seen his State of the Union speech that he did a couple of days ago, where he used this dude that did save lives in this shooting as a beacon of something, but he didn't invite any other of the people that actually used firearms to defend human life. So it's all agenda pushing. And if you noticed in that address, he did mention, he very heavily emphasized pistol, because the guy used like a Mac 11 clone or whatever, which is technically a pistol. So we might see some legislation here that does regard your pistol. Now, typically Democrats claim they only want to ban something like this, AR-15 or AK, anything like this. They always say, oh, just ban the assault weapons, or assault, whatever they call these things. That's what they, assault weapons or whatever. They always go for these things, right? And they claim, oh, this is all we want to ban, and this is it. The magazine on one of these is typically 30 rounds. And they say, oh, we just get rid of the high capacity magazines. And some people are foolish enough to believe that. Like, they literally believe what they're saying. But you need to understand, they don't just want to go for those, okay? they actually want to get rid of guns, period. They just don't want to tell you that because it won't look good for their, you know, when they're running and stuff to get votes. If they outright just say, oh, I want to take your guns and I don't want you to be, they won't get the votes. But if they're careful and they don't say it like that, they'll probably get the votes, and they incrementally chip at your right to bear arms. If you don't know, there's already a lot of gun laws already on the books already. Don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's a lot. And you got to think about it. We started making gun laws back in like the 1930s, and it's just kept chipping. We used to be able to own fully automatic firearms, and they chipped that away. We used to be able to own SBRs, and they took that away. We used to be able to, you know what I mean? We used to be able to do a lot of things with our firearms, own certain guns, but they're chipping away. Now they're trying to say you can't own a semi-automatic rifle like an AR-15 that's detachable magazine fed. And they start with the 30-round mags, and then they go down. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to, and this is the thing, right? This thing is responsible for like 1 to 2% of gun deaths. Not even this thing, my bad. Rifles in general. So this is less than 1% of gun deaths in our country this thing's responsible for. So it makes you wonder, why are they targeting this thing? Well, they target this because it looks scary, and this thing is very effective at fighting. You know, if the government decides to, you know, inflict great suffering on the American people, this is something you want. And so they're trying to get that out of the way. What's going to happen is, once they realize that banning that will do nothing with stopping crime or anything like that, or even lowering gun deaths, you know what they're going to go for next? Something like this, your semi-automatic pistol, right? They'll come for this, because if you noticed, Democrats and the anti-gunners typically emphasize semi-automatic. It's like evil to them. So do you seriously think they're going to ban that semi-automatic rifle, but they're going to stop when they do that? No, they're going to come for the semi-automatic pistols next. And mark my words, because we've already seen Joe Biden claim that the 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body, right? A 9mm round or the bullet will blow the lung out of your body. Like, the 9mm is not that devastating at all, not even close. Okay, there's people that get shot with those things and not even realize it, you know. So this is what we're talking here. And the Democrats, all of them are the same, right? So they'll come for these next, right? This thing holds typically 17 rounds, so they're going to come for these next, you know. And then we'll be down to something like a revolver, right? And you know, once they realize that taking the semi-automatic pistols didn't do much, you know, if they could successfully do it, which they're not going to be able to, but then you think they're going to just let us have these? No, these are going to be next. Their whole agenda is to get rid of firearms, but they're doing it in a smart way. They're chipping at the iceberg. They're not taking huge chunks. They're slowly but surely doing it. And once they do it, so you don't realize it, and once it's too late, it's gone. You're not getting it back. So my whole point is this: don't listen to them when they tell you, oh, we don't want to take your guns away. It's a fucking lie, okay? And you just watch, and it's Democrats that do this. You watch. And Joe Biden even said that we need more Democrats in the House or wherever, in the Senate or whatever they said. You know why he's saying that? Because Democrats are anti-gun. They're the party of anti-gunners. They're, in my opinion, they're the party of anti-America. They don't like our country. They don't like fucking people in our country. They're for every other fucking country and people other than us first. But that's no surprise. I mean, but yeah, the point of this video is I wanted to talk to you people who might be on the fence about the topic, right? Like, if I got any viewers that aren't like one side or the other, you're kind of like, I don't know, I see good points where here or there. I'm telling you this, okay? If you support the right to keep and bear arms, don't vote Democrat. Just don't vote. If you're not a Republican voter either, then don't vote for them. Don't vote Democrat. I don't care if, you know, you're the candidate is a Republican and you hate him, but then there's a Democrat, it doesn't matter. You don't have to vote for neither of them. Just don't vote Democrat, because if you're voting Democrat, you are voting against your own beliefs. You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. And if you don't understand that, if you don't even see that, like if you're like, well, I can't, how do I know if Democrats are really, just do research. Go watch videos of our president, Joe Biden, any Democratic president. The worst gun control comes from the Democratic presidents. So Joe Biden, back in the day with the 94 crime bill, it was Bill Clinton. It was then Obama tried to do some assault weapons bans. So all of them. Now, like I said, there are Republicans that kind of do that too, which I wouldn't vote for them either. You know, Donald Trump had a few things about that I did not like. He fucking banned bump stocks and he's for red flag laws. So, you know, that's fucking retarded. But Democrats, by a whole, they are very anti-gun. And they don't want to tell you that because they want the votes. But Beto O'Rourke is one of the very few that came out and said exactly what Democrats want. Yes, we want to take your AR-15s and AK. He wants to take them from us, you know? And it's funny because I hear so many Democratic politicians that claim they're for the Second Amendment, but they never understand what the Second Amendment is for. They always claim it's about hunting. Like that's how ignorant they are. So the whole message to you people who are on the fence, don't vote Democrat. Just don't. You don't have to vote for any of them. Just don't vote that. Don't vote against your rights, your sacred rights that we have. You know, it's very hypocritical if you own firearms and you're voting for a Democrat. And I'm not saying that to offend anybody. I'm not saying that to get under anybody's skin. I'm saying it's a fact, right? Like, I guess a good analogy I can come up with is if you're a car person, right? And the potential president candidate wanted to ban cars or severely limit the shit you can do to your car, but you really like customizing your car and shit, why would you vote for them? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they have some values you like, if that's a core value, why would you vote for them? It's that simple. I don't think that's hard to understand at all. I think it's very simple, and just don't vote Democrat if you're a gun person. If you like your firearms and you have, now granted, if you're one of those people who got guns and you're like, well, I don't care if they do that, okay, whatever, vote Democrat then. If you want your shit to get taken away and you want to just not be able to defend your life. But if you truly care for the Second Amendment and you're more on the left side of politics, don't vote Democrat, because you're voting for gun control, whether you know it or not. And I'm just giving you a heads up. So now, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Go and watch all the Democratic candidates debate or whatever, and you will see they don't care for your right for the Second Amendment and other rights too. But that's a number one that they attack, and they do it in a smart way, so you don't realize it. You're not going to realize. You're going to be like, oh, let's say you don't care for AR-15s or anything like that, and all you care for is a pistol. Once again, they're not going to stop at that. You believe that, but that's not the case. They don't want us armed. That's the fact. They just don't like saying that. So that's about it. That's all I got. Like I said, this is a message not to my main audience who, mainly understands this whole concept. But this is for the people in the middle that don't know how to think, you know what I mean? Because I was there at one point too, but I did my research and I'm completely different now, and you know what I mean? So that's it. But that's it. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to Mark's channel, the Centerfire Podcast channel. Don't forget to like the videos and give me suggestions if you guys got anything for the next video. So, peace.